Chapter 16. Marvin would sometimes forget things. This didn't tend to bother him unless it was something important that he was forgetting. Once in a while he would forget his favorite color, but this came back to him momentarily. His favorite color was difficult to forget. Sometimes he even forgot his name, but that never lasted for longer than 20 minutes. He had several haunting memories, but a few key ones came up more than once every hour, one of which was the memory of a man calling out his name. Marvin didn't like remembering that, but otherwise he most certainly wouldn't have known his name anymore. This time, though, he didn't forget his name. He forgot something else. Upon hearing the door staring face to face with a pure physical manifestation of hunger, he came upon a sudden realization. For over 50 years, Marvin had forgotten what he liked. But suddenly, he knew. The memories were fortunately coming back. Not that they were ever gone or anything. In fact, the fascination still remained, even if he wasn't aware of it. Marvin always had this kind of fascination. Every day was exciting. There were opportunities and discoveries to make, and he wasn't alone as he was at this point. That was the important part. The system was always interesting. The way that everything sort of worked together seamlessly, like it had always been perfect and it had always existed. The idea that such a thing had once not existed and there's a building process just didn't seem to register in his mind at the time. If just one piece went missing, the entire thing would fall apart. Sometimes he took everything apart to see what would happen. This never landed very well, but Marvin loved it anyway. It was a learning experience, almost, one that couldn't be taken away from him. Those days were quite different. He certainly wasn't being forced to do anything as he was now. Of course, it was inevitable that somebody was going to be forced. It's not like this was a new thing. The more Marvin tried to not think about it, the more it grew in his mind. It felt almost as if his brain was growing into it, like there was a possibility that it would explode into millions of pieces, and the thoughts would escape, and the hungry would be happy for the rest of their lives. That was the worst scenario. The best one for him would be him to take revenge on the hungry in some way. And there it was, right in front of him. The first opportunity after years of imprisonment. There was a chance, but it was a little riskier than he would have liked. That wasn't much of a problem at this point. He had already taken an equal risk earlier on. "Person," Marvin said, holding a square piece the size of a marshmallow. "Who are you, person?" I stood up straight, ready to engage in a polite conversation. This is what I was prepared for, or rather what I hoped would take place, but only after realizing that this man was, in fact, not Hill at all. Before that, I was prepared to destroy. "Hello there, sir," I said, faking a smile. I scanned the room in a matter of seconds, looking for a particular object. "You don't happen to have a circle here?" Marvin tried his very best to act naturally. He was never good at doing that, though, and like always, he came off awkwardly. Oh, no," said Marvin. "Couldn't be. I don't remember such a thing at all." He slowly walked forward, grabbing onto a pole and breaking it off of his machine. "Heh," I began, feeling quite uncomfortable. "Okay, well, I apologize for intruding." He continued to walk forward slowly with his large pole staring into my eyes. "But I would like to, I began, looking back at Care, take this girl here home with me because she belongs to me." Marvin didn't listen. I stepped back. "Okay, so as long as you understand me," I said, now walking backwards at a rather steady pace. I grabbed onto Care's hand. "I'll be leaving now." "No," Marvin said. He retained his tight grip on the pole, now walking faster than before. "Well, yes," I said. "No." Care whined for a brief moment. There was an awkward silence. I took a quick dash up the stairs, pulling Care with me. Marvin swung the pole forward, nearly hitting both of us. It flew from his hands and broke the closet door. Marvin said nothing. He didn't even appear frustrated. He simply ran up the stairs after us. Care pulled in the opposite direction. "Care, quit it," I said, opening the door to the hallway. "How do you know she began. I guess it wouldn't make sense for him. Like, I don't fact that I correctly called her name is also evidence that it's not Marvin, but I don't know. I don't know. Cause like if it's a whole like alter ego memory type thing, then like it doesn't necessarily mean it's not him. I'm gonna be watching this back later. I'll be having all the answers, or at least the relevant ones, and being like, "Oh my God, you idiot! How could you not realize that it's obviously Marvin?" Or "How could you realize it's not Marvin?" Or whatever. How could you be undecided on this thing you don't have all the answers for? But I don't know. Okay. Fucking Marvin tripped on the stairs the second he began walking up, hitting his head. He nearly screamed. We both looked down briefly as he lied there, motionless. "That was pretty hilarious," I said, holding up my camera and filming this priceless event. "Now let's get out of here." Yeah, if they both looked, then yeah. I don't know. Felt kind of strange, like this was easier than it should have been. Hill was nowhere to be found, and his replacement was a fragile old man. Nothing about that felt right to me, and surely enough, I was on my toes as we made our way out through the hallway and out of the building. I was expecting a fight. I was expecting murder. Everything about the situation was frustrating. I knew that Hill was going to come back eventually, and I needed to be ready for that. At the same time, though, I didn't want to be ready for the rest of my life, spending every minute preparing for the fight. It just didn't feel like the correct thing to do. Regardless, there's nothing that I could do about it. I didn't want to seem angry. This was supposed to be a good moment for me. I found Care. I was about to take her home. Care continued to pull, though. I tried to ignore it as I opened the door to my car. "Taper, man," she said. "We need the circle." "We don't need any stupid circle, Care," I replied, sitting down. "This is important business here." But get inside," I said. Clearly there were problems, and they weren't going to be solved anytime soon. It was possible that I would die, but that wasn't an issue for me. "Can we get the circle later?" Care asked, sitting down and closing the car door next to her. "No," I said. I started the car, and we drove off. While most of my thoughts up until that point had been fairly negative, there was a positive tied to this situation as well. My plan was to bring Care home to her mother. That was the obvious thing to do after all. But it meant something good. It meant that Care's mother would finally be appreciative of me and my excellence. It meant that I could finally fix my life, that everything would fall right back into place, as it had only been a few years ago. As it had been only a few years ago. That's what I wanted. It was pretty much irrelevant to that goal. But even then, Hill was watching, and he was waiting for that perfect moment. It suddenly occurred to me that he could have been anywhere, even in the backseat of my car. That was quite a scary thought. "Care?" I said, as she had almost fallen asleep. "What?" she asked. "Check the back seats." I don't like that it ends there. I don't like that there's 4 chapters left, but hey, good things happened. Alright, let us get ready for the next one.